Hi, I'm Chris Rowe, and today I want to tell you about something that I believe will be the biggest financial story in America by the end of 2021. Yet, right now, almost nobody is talking about it. In short, President Biden is about to cause an enormous sea of economic change in our country, and I believe 98% of Americans have no clue what's coming in the near future. Now, before you get the wrong idea about this message is not a political statement. It's simply about money. Because even though what I'm referring to right now will happen due to politics, and the most radical Democrats are in charge of the most powerful country on earth, where they continue to threaten Americans' freedom of speech, by April 30th, President Biden's far left agenda is set to unintentionally trigger what I believe to be is the greatest wealth opportunity in this coming decade. One that could bless the pockets of everyday investors all over the country. I understand that most Americans are scared for the future of our nation. You may be one of those people, but here's the important thing that most people don't know. While the mainstream media continues to divide, the political narrative, millions of Americans, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, are completely unaware that Biden's far left agenda is set to trigger a rare wealth opportunity in a small corner of the stock market, one that Yahoo Finance published saying is set to explode in 2021. And as an American investor, it's your right to have access to this breakthrough information because the few who act on it could profit in a pretty big way because of it. And it all comes down to the very policies that President Biden and the radical left are going to put in place by April 30th. Unfortunately, most will be left out. But those who position themselves before April 30th are going to have an opportunity to make a lot of money. Now, before I reveal all the details, it's important to note that this message has nothing to do with Biden's radical plans to issue the greatest tax hike in history, create Medicare for all, completely cancel student debt, or even Kamala Harris's slave reparations that should cost upwards of $51 trillion while tripling our nation's debt. Instead, there's something that's much bigger that's in the works right now, a political plan that will catapult an industry to new highs while at the same time causing a buying frenzy in that little corner of the markets. In fact, a few of the 1% have already seen what's happening, and they're piling billions of dollars into this little corner as we speak, including Jeff Bezos, Amazon's CEO, who just raised the stakes by investing $10 billion, as well as billionaire and media mogul Mike Bloomberg, who's already invested over $1 billion. Even the Oracle of Omaha himself, Warren Buffett, has committed $15 billion of his money towards this. And like I said, it all boils down to one executive order that Biden is planning to sign no later than April 30th, one that will cause certain stocks to go absolutely haywire. And according to investment news, one that, quote, will usher in an unprecedented boom for certain investments. Bloomberg is even estimating that the impact of what Biden is planning to hit $2.6 trillion in individual investments this decade, creating a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for everyday investors all over the country, which is why Business Insider just said, quote, get ready to profit from the Biden boom. And if you know what to do, you can not only watch this radical left plan ripple through the markets, but you could also turn the tables and potentially see a small stake transform into a family fortune. Like I said earlier, most Americans don't know what's truly going on, and I can't blame you for being in the dark. After all, our biased media is still too busy reporting on deaths caused by COVID-19 while trying to convince everyone and their dog that Trump was the worst thing to ever happen to our country, as well as trying to confuse everyone with their propaganda to persuade us all into accepting socialism. It's why Jim Sigilski of Leader Call wrote an article titled, Mainstream Media is the Real Dangerous Virus, to which I definitely don't disagree. But while the far left media and its deep state owners have been busy using propaganda to distract Americans, Biden has been meeting with his Democratic colleagues behind the scenes to issue a specific plan within his first 100 days as president. That means it'll be in full effect by no later than April 30th. It's going to have drastic implications in a certain corner of the market. Market Watch calls red hot, which is why I want to give you all the details of what's truly going on behind the scenes. Because if you hesitate and you hold the bag, even for just a day or two, it might be too late. I'm going to tell you all about this opportunity that CNBC calls a game changer for investing. And more important, I'm going to show you how you can position yourself for the beginning of the most lucrative megatrend of the decade. Think Amazon during the rise of the internet stocks in the 1990s, Google leading the charge in software during the 2000s, or Facebook during the birth of social media in 2009. This could be the one opportunity that could take a small $5,000 account and turn it into a $250,000 account. $370,550 and even $583,000, but only if you act fast. And let me remind you, I'm not making some kind of political statement. This isn't about politics. It's about money. $2 trillion to be more precise. But before I reveal how you can take advantage of what's about to happen, let me fully introduce myself. Again, my name is Chris Rowe. 20 years ago, I was a high-powered Wall Street investor in New York City in my hometown. But even though I quickly gained wealth, authority, I guess some influence, something just didn't feel right to me. I wanted to be someone who helps everyday folks make money for themselves, not just somebody who makes all their money from investors. This is just boring. There's no real meaning behind it. So I walked away from a promising career in the early 2000s after a decade on Wall Street to do what really inspires me, helping people just like you reach financial independence. I wanted to reach folks who live on Main Street, not Wall Street, just like my family and my friends, the people who make up the true backbone of America. That's why I started my company, True Market Insiders. I did this to get my message out and help educate as many investors as possible. So that's why I've dedicated the rest of my life to giving back to everyday investors after becoming a millionaire on Wall Street at the age of 25. I'm not telling you that to try to brag. It's only to show you that when it comes to spotting early stage opportunities, I've been around the block more than a few times. But you know what? None of what I told you even matters if you don't give people the chance to also make money. So that's exactly what I do now. So over the years, I guess I've prided myself on giving ordinary folks the chance to get in on life-changing opportunities and trends before the mainstream investors get in there. I told folks about Advanced Micro Devices recently, a company that specializes in making semiconductor devices and computer processing. Sounds kind of boring. But if you'd held on with me since my initial recommendation, you would have made 681% on your money. I showed folks how to get in early on Teladoc Health, which has so far soared 480% had you held on to my original recommendation. And I think it's going to go up another 480%. I told readers about an online furniture company called Wayfair, who I believed was going to revolutionize the way people bought furniture. Folks who held on to my initial recommendation of Wayfair had the chance to see an incredible 620% gains. When I was a Wall Street trader, I was one of the first to uncover this radical new company called Amazon when it was trading under $50 a share. Today, it's trading at $3,256. That's a 6,400% gain, higher than I recommended it. And while opportunities like this could have been very lucrative for the folks who followed my work, I believe the opportunity that's in front of us today is as big as any other opportunity I've ever seen in my 25-year career. I think it's the biggest one I've seen so far. You see, my secret sauce is specializing in finding winning stocks before they appeared on most investors' radar. It's what I do. It's because of explosive opportunities like the one I'm telling you about today that I was able to retire as a millionaire when I was 25. So regardless of how you feel about Biden and our current political situation, if you're like me and you like money, then you should pay close attention to this, because there's literally about to be trillions of dollars up for grabs anytime before April 30th. So you see, unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you noticed that Biden has made climate change his number one focus in 2021. Right? He even went as far as calling it the number one issue facing humanity. And he's proposed a plan called the Biden Plan for a Clean Energy Revolution. It's going to spend $2 trillion on clean energy in the near future. So just to put that number into perspective, that's more than the GDP of Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Ukraine, and Argentina combined. He's also put together his very own climate crisis army to make certain this clean energy revolution will happen. An army that Biden scarily has referred to as, quote, a tested cohort of bold thinkers who know how to pull every lever of government. And now that Democrats have full control of the White House, House of Representatives, the Senate, and Janet Yellen, the former Fed chairman, as the new Treasury Secretary, who's widely known for spending out the wazoo, there will be nothing stopping Democrats from passing policies that will grease the wheels for this clean energy boom to race ahead like never before. For instance, one of his main priorities with climate change is to make America carbon neutral by 2050. The starting point of his plan is simple. According to BBC News, quote, once in office, Joe Biden has announced he aims to spend $2 trillion to drive down the emissions by upgrading 4 million buildings all over the country to make them more energy efficient. And because of this, the Wall Street Journal reported, quote, investors bet Biden will accelerate shift to renewable energy. This explains why Wall Street's already starting to move trillions of dollars into clean energy stocks. And get this, because of this massive trend that's taking place, it was reported 77% of polled institutional investors admitted that they will stop buying non-renewable stocks entirely by next year, 2022. That means you might want to think twice about having stocks that rely on oil in your portfolio. You see, when the Democrats have full control, even Wall Street sees this, that the trend is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. I hope you understand how big of a deal this is. Because just recently, right after Biden became our president, many green stocks absolutely exploded, went through the roof. And because of my expertise and my ability to spot these opportunities before they appear on most investors' radar, my readers and I were able to see lucrative returns on trades like M-Phase Energy, 369% gain, like that. QCLN, a 210% gain. That's a fund. Plug Power, 1,185% gain. Workhorse, 1,078% gain. And even NEO, 1,242% gain. Enough to completely transform a $5,000 investment into an incredible $67,100. Keep in mind, these aren't hypothetical examples. My readers had the opportunity to get into these trades and make a lot of money in a short time. And thanks to the policies that Biden presidency is about to put in place in his first 100 days in the White House, which means no later than April 30th, the gains are about to get much, much bigger. That's why I'm talking to you today. That's why in just a moment, I'm going to show you how you can position yourself into my top green picks that are set to explode in 2021. Stocks my research shows will be at the forefront of this green revolution. But before I reveal all the details, I want you to fully understand the potential here. And in order to do that, you need to go back in time and see how history always repeats itself. 4 presidents, 4 wealth opportunities. For the past 30 years, each president that has been inaugurated has ended up causing certain explosions in different areas of the stock market. And it all had to do with government policies they passed while in office. So for example, in the early 90s, you had the World Wide Web that was introduced to the world, so the internet. And foreign governments began to jump in. They got on the technology bandwagon, including the Japanese government, who committed to invest over $120 billion by 1995 to develop a digital broadband communication infrastructure. They called it Information Network System. But since foreign governments started getting involved, the American government wanted to jump on board and issue its own spending plan, which is exactly what President Bill Clinton did in his first year in office when he issued the Technology Policy for America and said each year I plan to devote a significant portion of my 4-year, $80 billion Rebuild America Fund to laying out the groundwork for the nation's technology infrastructure that it needs in the 21st century. And hence, the beginning of the tech boom was born. So over the course of Bill Clinton's presidency and his federal spending plan, an explosion was triggered in the technology sector that led to returns like JDS Uniphase, remember JDSU, the telecom equipment maker? Saw incredible returns, 28,894%. EMC, that data storage software and equipment maker, which skyrocketed up 29,975%. And I know you probably remember AOL, American Online, exploded 70,626% in price. And Dell Computers, decade leading, 91,000% return. It's pretty amazing, right? But it doesn't stop there. The trend continued because we were able to see the same thing when President George W. issued his, quote, New Generation of American Innovation Agenda in 2004, which committed $1.2 billion of federal spending in hydrogen fuel, boosted the energy sector. See companies like XTO Energy skyrocketed 3,461%. Southwest Energy Company, who also experienced incredible returns, 3,823%, enough to turn a $5,000 investment into $196,169, or $10,000 into $392,000. It's pretty incredible, right? But that's the power of federal spending. Federal spending. Right after Bush did it, President Obama took his turn while spending $940 billion to introduce Obamacare to the country. Once it was put into effect on January 1st, 2014, biotechs took off. In just 1 year, we saw a whole series of phenomenal returns from biotechs because of this. Receptos had 322% return, Bluebird Bio 337, Agios Pharmaceuticals skyrocketed 367, Ova Science ended up having an impressive 383% return, and Avanar Pharmaceuticals exploded, gave investors 404% return, which was enough to turn every $5,000 invested into a profit of $25,225. Again, that's just 1 year. There was like 20 different opportunities in the same sector where you could have had the chance to double or triple or even quadruple your money. I mean, this was biotechs. And this was only possible because of extensive federal spending on Obamacare. Then starting in 2016, when it was President Trump's time to swear his oath as president, he decided to switch gears. He put the government's federal spending focus on winning the 5G race. And he spent over $1.3 trillion on infrastructure, which again, that resulted in a stock market boom in the tech sector and on companies such as PowerStorm Holdings, Inc., shot up 2,890%. The small account of $5,000 would have turned into $149,000. Somerset Transition Corp. skyrocketed 4,900%. That would have turned $5,000 into a $250,000 return. Galaxy Generation Inc. shot up 8,500% because of its involvement in 5G, turned $5,000 into $434,000 in a year. It's 2.5 times more than the average 401k balance at retirement. So if you just think about those who were fortunate enough to spot these different opportunities, take advantage of them, that's the kind of opportunity I'm telling you about today. It's probably bigger than all of those because all it took was one big decision from the man in the Oval Office and one decision to embark on a whole new world of profit from. And now that Biden is in the driver's seat as the 46th president of the United States, history is now repeating itself. However, this next stock market boom is set to mint fortunes. It's not about technology. It's not about healthcare, but simply green energy. And so the trigger of this boom lies in the implementation of a $2 trillion investment from Biden's liberal administration that I mentioned earlier. He's essentially writing blank checks to companies that are in the clean energy industry. So this tidal wave of money will only give the companies in the alternative energy sector more room to run in 2021, even though it's already seen huge strides over the last few years with companies like Sunrun Inc. up 1,814%, Tesla up 2,813%. You've seen the charts. Even Enphase Energy had an incredible 19,284% performance, leading the way. That's enough to transform a $5,000 investment into a $969,000 nest egg. Or if you took $10,000, you'd have almost $2 million fortune in less than 5 years. Just imagine how we feel when that happens. The adrenaline rush and stress-free relief of an investment that can change the lives of you and your family. And even though most investors missed out on those kinds of returns, you're going to be really happy to know that 2021 is just the beginning, which is exactly why oil price recently said, quote, the renewable energy boom will restart in 2021. So simply put, what we're about to see has the potential to become a blessing to everyday investors all over the country. So it doesn't really matter what your political view is. And it's why everyone on Wall Street's raving about the potential returns this federal spending will create in the green energy market. Just take a look at what the Wall Street Journal wrote. It said clean energy is finally going mainstream. And even Reuters reported Goldman Sachs has committed to invest $750 billion in companies that are going green. So you see, the fat cats and the bigwigs in the game already see what's bound to happen. And with the new administration's federal spending plan to focus on green energy and the impact it's shown in the markets during the Clinton, the Bush, the Obama, and the Trump presidencies, Biden's plan is setting up a critical opportunity for you. Because experts are saying investors who are looking at green energy may be looking at a ton of upside in returns. Just take a look at how green energy stocks have absolutely skyrocketed over the last year compared to big oil. This is the very reason why the World Economic Forum said green energy will overtake both gas and coal globally by 2024. That's just 3 years from now. And the New York Times reported oil companies are collapsing, but green energy keeps on growing. Keep in mind, this is only the beginning. And certain stocks have already started seeing impressive returns for everyday investors, just like NEO did when I recommended it to my readers right after Biden became president. In fact, we've been looking at that stock for a very long time. I watched it reap 1,242% returns since Biden's been in office. That's enough to completely transform a small $5,000 investment into an incredible $67,100 payday, almost doubling the average American salary. Look, I have no idea what you're doing with your money, but if you were to look at your retirement statement or your investment accounts right now, would they be anything like those returns? Look, I have no idea what you're doing with your money, but if you were to look at your retirement statement or your investment accounts right now, would they be anything like those returns? That's why I want to stress how important this is for you and to realize what's at stake. I really hope you see what's possible here because I've built my whole entire career on recognizing opportunities like these that led me to millions of dollars in profits. Like when I bought Qualcomm during the dot-com boom, made 2,600% gain in under 12 months. Taser, we brought them public, 7,500% within a year. Like I showed you today, the momentum is already happening, building up for green energy stocks now. And according to my projections, those who position themselves in a few key stocks stand to make a fortune in the coming days, weeks, and months. But keep in mind, the longer you wait, the more money that you're probably leaving on the table because one executive order, just one stroke of the pen before April 30th could catapult certain stocks into the stratosphere, parabolic. Now, obviously, I can't predict the future and tell you the exact time or the exact day that this will happen. But for almost 2 years, Joe Biden has been telling Americans what he plans to do in his first year as the nation's 46th president. The first step in the green energy process he announced was rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement, which he did on his very first day as president. The second was injecting $2 trillion into green energy to fight climate change. And he stated that he would have this done within the first 100 days. That means this will happen no later than April 30th. Just as S&P Global says, quote, Biden to use first 100 days to jumpstart climate change agenda. While climate advisors quote, Biden's first 100 days of full court climate and energy press. You see, just one executive order, one stroke of the pen, could have the same effect on the stock market as the other 4 presidents before Biden. In fact, it would probably be going against history if it didn't happen. It's important to know this because timing in these lucrative opportunities is absolutely critical. And now, as a Wall Street insider, I am urging you to act fast. Because if you hesitate and you don't take action quick enough, you can miss out on this initial burst of momentum that has made me millions of dollars over the years. Just waiting a few weeks to invest in this massive trend can end up costing you literally tens of thousands of dollars in just 2 years. Again, take Tesla, for example. If somebody had invested just $5,000 into Tesla in November of 2019, they would have $71,850 today. That's more than most households in America make in a single year. But if they had just waited 2 months later, or just 60 days later, they would only have $32,850. Now, $32,850 is nothing to be disappointed about, especially with such a short-term investment. But by waiting just 2 months, they would have missed out on an extra $39,000 that they could have earned. And like I said earlier, I don't know your specific situation, but if you want to have the chance to see the biggest gains, you need to take action right now. Like I showed you earlier, a green energy focused economy is here to stay. And we know this. There's nothing anyone or anything can do to change that with Democrats in charge of the White House, the Senate, the House of Reps, and green energy stocks are already on the move. SunPower has already gone up 228%, Ballard Power Systems 225%, SolarEdge Technologies 235%. These are ones that I just recommended not even a couple months ago. Bloom Energy up 283%, Vivint Solar is up 493%, Plug Power is up 973%. Again, just in a few months. NEO is up 1,111% now. But you need to understand, with Biden's sole focus on climate control in his first 100 days as president, this is just the beginning. I mean, sit back and think about the many opportunities of amazing stocks that you've watched soar to new highs while sitting there saying to yourself, I knew about that stock way before everyone was talking about it, and I let it slip right through my fingers. As a professional investor from Wall Street, I can tell you it's the worst feeling. I've been there. But wouldn't it be much better if in just a few months from now, you could hear your family and loved ones telling you, hey, can't believe that you knew about that and invested in that so early on. That's why I want to give you instant access to the exclusive research in my new investment dossier called The Biden Boom: 3 stocks set to skyrocket in the green economy. Honestly, I have no doubt that anyone could see a decent return with a few green stocks in their portfolio, but I'm 100% confident that you could see exponentially groundbreaking returns with these top 3 stocks my research shows are expected to explode as Biden makes green energy his number 1 priority in office. With this list of my top stocks, I fully believe you could potentially make $100,000 or more in this sector over time. In fact, the first company on my list will play a major role in Biden's plan for a green economy. So like I said earlier, that President Biden has pledged to move the U.S. to a zero carbon emissions nation by 2050, which means the Democrats will be on an absolute tear to create policies that could hurt certain industries like coal and oil. Even CNBC published an article which reads, how Biden's $1.7 trillion climate plan would change America after Trump's big oil presidency. So when this happens, Wall Street investors will be forced to pull their money out of oil investments and put it into renewable fuel companies, causing certain stocks to absolutely explode. And I've identified a small stock that I believe will be the most lucrative way to play this seismic shift. It's positioned to lead the charge on renewable fuel. And in just the last few months, this company has already gone up 89%, meaning there's a ton of room for it to explode even higher. And I fully expect it to shoot to the moon under President Biden's first year in office. That means could be 1,000%. That's just one of the massive opportunities that lay waiting for you. Another one on my list is a company that I believe is set to soar higher as solar energy becomes the new norm. As Biden's policies are passed, we will start to see a massive amount of electricity created from solar energy. I know that that's just 5 years ago, solar energy looked like nothing, right? A pipe dream from the left-wing Democrats. Get this, in 2015, the value of the solar energy market worldwide was only 86 billion. But now with Biden in the White House and Democrats in control of the whole thing, experts are predicting it will hit 422 billion in just the next 12 months. And the second stock on my list is poised to lead the charge in this huge trend. The majority of this solar company's business is conducted in blue Democrat states, which will only help the stock as the Democrats continue to pass legislation and spend trillions of dollars to embrace green energy in their home states. Since Biden got elected, it has already doubled in price, and I expect it to explode more than 1,000% over the next 12 months. I've put all the details in the special investment dossier called The Biden Boom, 3 stocks set to skyrocket in the green economy. It's going to tell you everything you need to know so you can buy 3 stocks in just a few minutes and position yourself to profit during this massive Biden boom that we're all about to experience. I'm so thrilled to get this in your hands today, but I'm not going to stop there. I want to let you in on my top research and trade recommendations. So, you see, before I became a millionaire on Wall Street, by the age of 25, before I became a Wall Street insider and became close friends with some of the most powerful people in the world, I was just a 17-year-old kid, fresh out of high school, just trying to start my career on Wall Street. And I wouldn't be talking to you today if it weren't for my mentor. Okay, so my mentor, you see, when I first started trading, I had studied every book and training material, all the investment books I can get my hands on. I was determined I was going to be a successful investor and create the kind of life that most could only dream about. But it wasn't until my mentor really took me under his wing that I started to achieve the success that I was looking for. So instead of just hanging me out to dry, my mentor taught me some key lessons. Those lessons that helped me become one of the top traders at my firm in my early 20s. And lessons added with a ton of hard work and perseverance helped me walk away from my job on Wall Street well over a decade ago and move myself and my family to a beach in Florida like I always wanted. And now I feel it's my turn to give back. So I want to help you build generational wealth also. That's why I started a new venture a couple years ago, a research service that I have. It's called Sector Focus. My mission in Sector Focus is simple: to help you grow your wealth as quickly as possible. To do this, I personally spend multiple 6 figures every year on stock market data that tells me which sectors of the market Wall Street and institutions are quietly piling their money into. Once I discover which sector is performing the best, I then single out the strongest stocks and ETFs with the most explosive upside in that sector. And my recommendations have been paying off big time for years. Here's just a snapshot of some of the stocks that are recommended in Sector Focus recently. 301% on Jinko Solar, 374% on Iridium Communications, 646% on AMD, and a massive 824% from Kirkland Lake Gold. These are real trades that my readers had the opportunity to cash out of in just the last several months. Take a look at what some of my readers are saying. I've been around Chris for many years, and this is absolutely the best. Love the sector-focused approach. The light bulb has finally gone on. Right now, making gobs of money. Blaze, that's a cool name. Chris did a great job teaching me about the real market. I've doubled my 401k holdings in 5 years. Couldn't have done it without Chris. That's John S. Thanks, John. Look, I'm humbled that my work is already helping many everyday folks protect and grow their wealth. And I'm confident that it could help you do the same. Just like it did for John W. John says, quote, having lost my job in January, I paid some of my end of service money into my trading account and have doubled that in value in 1 month. So grateful to Chris. That's John W. Bez, my buddy Bez, wrote in to say, I want to thank you for all the great advice that you've given me over the years. My wife and I have retired comfortably, travel, and enjoy life. Thank you for the great advice over the years. Bez, and I can never pronounce the last name. And look at what Jay's been able to do since he found me. Quote, I love this service. I've made more money in a shorter time than I thought possible. I've made $79,600 year to date. That's JW. Can you imagine how much of an impact these kinds of returns could be for your financial future? Now, I'm sure that you've heard people make claims like that before. And unfortunately, most hold no weight or proof to the claims that they're making. I mean, they're cherry picking. Some of them aren't even real. But what I've just shown you has already made a huge financial impact on those few investors, meaning it's a reality for them. I mean, what makes you think this can't be a real reality for you? You see, with the opportunities that I'm willing to share with you immediately, right now, you're going to have a chance to turn a small bit of money into a potential fortune in the coming days, weeks, and months. Again, I'm going to send you all the details once you join my world-class research service, Sector Focus. Okay, so real quick, here's the full rundown of everything you'll get when you become a premium subscriber of Sector Focus today. Specifically, you will have an average of 10 sector focus trades every month. I don't know of a research service anywhere that gives you this many profit opportunities. On average, we've been giving 10 trade opportunities per month. And in the future, we're going to be giving even more than that. It's going to pick up. You're going to have exclusive market and sector analysis. Each week, you're going to hear from me and my team as we break down what's happening in the markets and we reveal which sectors are about to skyrocket. You're also going to receive a featured sector of the month video, which is typically released in the first week of each month. We'll let you know where we believe that we're going to see the biggest market moves each month. So you'll typically get a handful of stocks, ETFs, and even a couple options plays maybe in that video alone. You'll also have 24/7 access to the members-only website. So when you go to the True Market Insider's site, you're going to get instant access to the private members area. Sector Focus Portal gives you easy access to everything you need to build a fortune in the stock market. You're also going to get a dedicated customer service team. So if you have any questions about your membership, my customer care team is ready to take your call. They're going to guide you through whatever it is that you need. Just like my readers, who I just shared their testimonials with you, right? Just like my readers, I truly believe that access to my sector focused research service is going to set you on a path to your retirement dreams, just like them. Now, I want to be clear. This is privileged access that I didn't even give to my millionaire, multimillionaire, centimillionaire customers when I was working on Wall Street. But the moment you subscribe to Sector Focus, you're going to get all of this. Full, unfiltered access to me, my research, all my wealth generating tools. So this could really help ease your worries about another future stock market crash, wiping out 40% of your portfolio, which is what happened to millions of people just last year. You'll no longer have to settle for these tiny returns. Your financial advisor, who's only concerned, by the way, with making money for himself or herself, and you will no longer have to second guess your own decisions because the media is clouding your view of the markets. Time's of the essence right now, all right? So as I mentioned, President Biden has promised that he'll make climate change his #1 priority in his first 100 days in office. And the $2 trillion that he's planning to spend on green energy could spark a massive explosion in certain green energy stocks. I believe it's going to make a lot of the in-the-know people very rich, but you could be one of them. Again, my report, The Biden Boom, 3 stocks set to skyrocket in the green economy, can be yours absolutely free for life once you subscribe to my research service. Helping you achieve financial freedom is my mission. It brings me crazy amount of joy to help others achieve their financial dreams, which is why I'm not charging $1,500 for an annual subscription here. I'm not even charging $500, not even $100. I lowered the annual subscription, $49, 13 cents a day. That's just enough to cover my overhead costs. So in other words, I won't even make a single dollar when you join Sector Focus today. That's okay with me. I didn't create Sector Focus to make money. I created it to help people achieve their financial goals so that they can spend their lives doing what really matters most. Now, I know we just met. You might be unsure about joining Sector Focus right now, right? I get it. And I don't want anything keeping you from your shot at making these massive gains. So that's why I'm going to remove any doubt that you might have by joining me in the next couple minutes. I'm going to give you a 30-day, 110% satisfaction guarantee. To be perfectly clear, I want you to take the next 30 days, just review everything Sector Focus has to offer, my weekly trade recommendations, my Sector Focus video of the month, US-based customer service, literally everything. And if you're not absolutely thrilled with what me and my research have to offer, just simply call my team. They'll rush you an immediate full refund of your $49 membership fee, 13 cents a day. And you can keep the Biden and Boom 3 stocks set to skyrocket in the green economy report. So I'm putting all the risk on myself. It doesn't get any easier and risk-free than that. And I'm not going to stop there. When you order in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to rush you an additional report free of charge. It's called the 5 stocks set to skyrocket in a post-COVID economy. As you've noticed, every year, the innovations unlocked by technology seem to appear faster and faster. But the recent coronavirus pandemic added fuel to the fire of technological advances in a way that we have never seen before. Throughout history, major disruptions always cause revealing opportunities for technology to advance faster and faster. But the last several months that we just experienced forced America as a whole to advance faster than we have ever had to move. So for example, video conferencing, right, went from being a barely used function of communication to an everyday necessity for most companies. As a result, stocks like Zoom exploded up to 706% in just a few months' time. So with many more technological advances happening at lightning speed, I pinpointed 5 companies that are going to be game changers in this new post-COVID economy. The one at the very top of my list is a company trading for well under $10 per share. And I truly believe in a few years, investors are going to look back and compare it to Apple and Netflix, because this tiny company just landed a deal with Amazon to implement voice command technology into millions of cars over the next few years. You better believe this is a big deal. It's trading under 10. When it gets over 10, a lot more institutions are going to buy it too. I wouldn't be shocked at all if this stock rose 100% just in the next 12 months alone, but this isn't the only game-changing company I've identified. I've also spotted 4 more companies that are on the verge of skyrocketing over the next year or so. All the details are included in your second free report. So it's a free report called 5 Stocks Set to Skyrocket in a Post-COVID Economy. Again, this report and the Biden Boom 3 stocks set to skyrocket in the green economy are yours absolutely free when you join Sector Focus today. Just click the button below to get started. And thank you so much for viewing this important briefing. I know your time is valuable. I really appreciate your time. I sincerely hope that you take me up on this offer. And I am super confident right now that joining Sector Focus is the best financial decision that you'll ever make. Mark my words, I think you'll repeat that back to me. That's because I believe that green energy is about to explode unlike any other sector that we've ever seen. And I want you to be among the few who get in now before it's too late and you miss the biggest gains. And it all starts with the 3 green energy stocks that I believe are going to lead the charge. But you need to act fast. The speed that this opportunity is moving at will pass by those who even hesitate. By the end of President Biden's first 100 days in office, which is April 30th, it will be too late to see the biggest returns. Just click the button below, get started. This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity is yours for the taking, and I urge you to take advantage of it. Today. All right? I look forward to having you on board. See you then.